Over the last week or so, is actually I meant to do this a few days ago and just got busy. We're asking about the contouring that I've been doing on some of the 3D printed guns, on the Glocks in particular, like the big bump on the back, right? I think it probably shows up best maybe there, that big hump there, and then you also can see these grooves. So when I first got into the printing thing late last year, hey Tim, I jumped into CAD because what I was really interested in wasn't just like, you know, getting files and printing them out, but really getting into design work and kind of messing around with it, right? Seeing what I could come up with or what I could do. And very quickly what I decided was one of the coolest things about the 3D printing of guns is that you get to customize your gun, right? And sure, you can put, like, obviously, like I put my Triquetra logo on stuff. I might put something like on this one for Gunmakers Match. You can put your initials on there, do whatever you want as far as that goes. But I'm talking about like actually customizing the grip and trust me, like my CAD is like low end, right? And some of this stuff was very early on, even in my trying to learn CAD. It's very easy to get in there once you have the files and modify them in however you want, right? So let me show you like a little bit kind of the evolution. The first thing I started doing really was just working on these, hello Blue Line Syndicate, working on these grooves, right? So the idea being to make the grip a little bit smaller and then put these grooves in, and obviously this is set up for a right-handed person, so it's a high kind of shelf for the thumb over here, and this just fits my hand pretty well. Adding this hump, and I've done a couple different configurations of it. And again, I'm not great at CAD, right? So this isn't smooth and kind of artistic looking, but it's just functional, right? I prefer, rather than a straight, hey, what's up, Mike? I prefer, rather than just a straight kind of back strap, I like the hump, right? More of a CZ style than a straight 1911 or like a Glock kind of slow round, right? Kind of a deep seat right there, right? So that's what that's all about. People have asked about that. In the 17 size slide frames that I'm doing for a 34 slide, which is actually, this is going to be the basis of the gun that I'm going to be using in the Gunmakers Match on June 19th. I initially started out just doing, this is where I started playing with a little bit of a magazine well flare. Where is the first one? So this one, this was the gun that I rather notoriously printed while driving across the country. And I was in a hurry to get in the truck and I just wanted to do this, but I also, you know, didn't want to just print something. I wanted to do a flared magazine well because again, this is going to be a competition gun. But because I'm kind of a moron sometimes, I only flared it front to rear. So this is super good. If you look at any of the videos of me shooting this gun, I'm shooting it only with the stick mags, with the 30 rounders, because you can't get a 17 round mag in there because the base plate won't go past the narrowness there. So that was evolution 1. This was evolution 2, where I flared in both directions, right? So we went left and right and front to back, and then that works really well for a 17 mag or a stick mag or any kind of a +2, +3 kind of whatever as far as that goes. And then kind of the same thing, I wanted to add that hump on the back to kind of fill the palm and get a deeper, what feels to me like a deeper grip up here under the beaver tail. It just feels more secure, so that's what's going on there. Obviously I've got several different colors and different materials that I'm playing around with, different materials, different print settings. You know, I am new to the 3D printing thing, right? So like just all kinds of different materials, different settings, same prints. These are all functional. I've had a whole bunch of the Glock 19s that have become functional guns in live fire shooting, several 17s as well, including the one that printed while I was driving. Not the best one. This one's shot hundreds and hundreds of rounds already as well. And I'm getting ready to put this one together next. This is the one with the hump and the full flare. So let's see, how does, so there's no doubt that these guns like are not as durable as the stuff you get like traditional manufacturing, right? So, you know, like here's one of the PD10 deals, right? Like this is this is the same kind of mix that you might get from Glock or from Springfield or, you know, Smith & Wesson, whoever. This is the one we're using on the PD10, and you know, it's definitely different. There's no doubt that these will break. In fact, this one did shear off here. This was a very, very early one I did. Again, getting into CAD, chopped a PD10 file down to PD8 size, and this was the first PD8 that actually was done contoured properly and all of that that I was able to do on the 3D printer myself. So it's let's see, what is, so Mr. Snowmake, you know, somebody else asked me that as well. Because I generally am carrying a single stack when it comes to my defensive guns, I really haven't thought about just printing a palm swell and, you know, think about like maybe it would attach, you know, inside of the little butt plug area. Somebody else asked me exactly the same thing, and I haven't thought about it, but mainly because I'm working from an existing model with my CAD stuff. Most of the stuff I've tried to do from zero blank slate in CAD has been even goofier looking than that, honestly. So yeah, so the materials aren't, you know, for me, I don't think they're as durable. This black carbon fiber stuff has been really good. It's a PLA plus. I've done some stuff in PLA. I will say that this material, as cool as it looks, it's a matte. It's called Spider Maker PLA, and it's a matte finish. I've got several different colors. It looks cool, but it is not. It's kind of powdery and chalky almost in the hand. But it's not very durable. It's pretty soft as far as that goes, so I'd stay away from that. eSun, Sunlu, PLA Plus is the stuff that I've been using. I think when I first got into it, I really thought, I'm gonna have to get into these exotic materials and higher temperatures and enclosures and all that. And watching the guys that have been doing this way longer than I have and seeing what they're doing, you know, Alex Control Pew, obviously being like one of the leader guys. I'm looking at what he's doing with Vin and Ivan and just all those guys. They were just down at that Guns and Bitcoin thing. Most of these guys are using PLA and PLA Plus, and so I've kind of stuck to that. I'm as excited as I was early on to try to jump into higher temperature stuff, maybe nylon or whatever, ABS. I just haven't done it, haven't crossed that bridge because I haven't needed to. Again, part of it is just learning the design and learning my settings, right? At this point, some of you may have seen the tree, the Earth Day tree print, which didn't turn out to be the M11, but it's still, I did stick it on there. I think it's still functional, maybe, if I try, but I kind of like the fact that it looks like a tree. So I've got another one of these printing that hopefully will not turn into a tree at the top. But what happened there, get rid of that for a second. What happened there was this base, the base of this broke free, essentially, and it was just kind of dancing around on the bed, moving with the print head, and that's why this spaghetti disaster happened at the top, but kind of looks like a tree. So, well, now who knows? I may as well just break it apart and actually try to turn it into a firearm. But the fire control unit area, all that stuff is still good. The magazine well is still good, but it also looks like a nice piece of art sitting on the shelf. But I wanted to explain the contouring thing because a lot of people have seen the pictures I've been putting up recently and asking about that in particular. And it's not a Glock tumor of some kind. It's actually on purpose. It actually feels really good. A lot of people have shot these guns with the swells and said, hey man, that actually feels cool. In fact, I know one guy who's going to be in the Gun Makers match out in Florida is trying to emulate the same kind of thing. He actually has the file and he's messing with it a little bit to do that. So if there are any other questions, I would be glad to answer them, whether they're related to my contouring and customization or not. Again, I think it's one of the coolest things about the 3D printing of guns is that you don't have to follow the mold. You know, you can get in there and really do anything you want, from putting logos, initials, obviously colors, like all that stuff. It's you know, I keep calling it a freedom hobby, gun making. The gun kits, you know, stippling, just what laser, whatever, Cerakote, all the different ways we customize guns. And I think for me, one of the really cool things about the 3D printing is I'm not using these for defensive purposes, right? I'm not staging these guns for defense. I'm not gonna carry these guns. So for me, playing around with them, making them feel a little different, look a little different, is kind of cool. Contoured AR grip, yeah, absolutely, yeah, no doubt. And in fact, I printed, let me go grab it real quick, because I did one new material. So I'm working on one of the completely do-it-yourself type designs, and this one's called an AP9. In fact, I cut the metal for the bolt recently, and I'm gonna do some welding, get that all together. But I actually printed this little stubby AR grip out of a material called TPU. It's kind of squishy. I'm gonna, as a basis for a nice AR grip, I wanted to see if I could get this TPU to work. I actually got this crazy color because I printed a cat for my daughter out of this crazy bright color first. So I think I'm gonna do the same kind of thing with this that I did with the Glock things, and start kind of molding this so it fits my hand really well. But first and foremost, this is gonna go on this guy. It's an AP9 project that I'm working on. And again, just because I really wanted to build one that was truly a complete do-it-yourself thing, right? I mean, obviously, like, all the important stuff here comes from Glock or an aftermarket company that makes Glock parts, and it's really just the frame. This AP9 is a design that they came up with completely. There's a lot of different versions of this. The blue and the shooty. That was just kind of a standard old school. Somebody said, hey, nobody really makes them anymore. And I said, well, I want to be able to be part of the remember when conversations that people have since I'm new to this. But 2 years ago, this was like all the rage, right? 2 or 3 years ago. Now people are doing the FGC. The FGC Mark II just came out. I'm sure I'll try to do one of those at one point. But I really do think it's important, like from my standpoint, to actually go ahead and get the raw steel and cut it and drill it and weld it and grind it and actually make it, instead of, you can buy kits for this now. You go online and, I mean, this is $22 worth of steel. Well, I bought a bar, it was $22. So this is probably about $5 worth of steel. And then there's another, $10, $15 worth of assorted little bits and screws and fasteners you get to put this together, or you can spend a couple $100 and get the kit to do it. But again, the whole do-it-yourself thing, I'm into. I really want to try that, and I'm probably going to try one of the ECM barrels as well. So that's electrochemical machining, where you actually can create a hexagonal rifled barrel with just like chemical and battery kind of interaction with the steel. So I'm looking forward to trying that out as well. Mr. Snowmake's cool. I am looking forward to meeting you. I'm really looking forward to meeting a whole bunch of people, honestly. I mean, it is going to be quite the gathering. I'm going to have a bunch of old friends that have gotten into gun making, relatively recently, and then I'm sure I'm going to meet a whole bunch of new guys that people who I know by code name, or I know by just interaction at the Are We Cool Yet group or wherever. But also I'm going to get to meet them in person, so I'm looking forward to it. I think that's going to be one of the probably the coolest aspect, honestly, of the Gunmakers match, is just the fact that it's going to be a bunch of like-minded people getting together, having fun with guns, showing off guns that they made in crazy colors and palm swells and logos and that kind of stuff. And then there'll be some shooting, some competition. We get a bunch of great prizes, amazing sponsor support, so that's been really cool as well. But that's it. Just wanted to kind of talk about that a little bit. I would recommend you go check out gunmakersmatch.com, gunmakersmatch.com, June 19th down in St. Augustine, Florida. There's still a few slots left. We're expecting to have about 50 competitors, and then another 20, 25 people that are there as staff, volunteers. Some of the sponsor representatives are going to be there, but it's going to be a cool event. And otherwise, just keep watching the stories, keep watching the posts, and if you have any questions, hit me up. I can point you to resources that will help you. And I'll tell you about my experiences as well over the last 4 or 5 months of doing it. Thanks.